Markets rally as President Trump softens his tone on the Fed chief and the trade war with China. A closer look at what the shift could mean for the negotiations with Beijing. And Tawnytown residents enter a civil lawsuit accusing Ecovista landfill of releasing toxic chemicals into the air. Well, thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with meteorologist Stephen Elmore. Feels like it's been a while since we've been together at noon.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How's the weather? We've had nice weather this week, but
yeah,
it seems like we're maybe mixing in some showers going into the rest of really the next couple weeks.
Yeah, things are changing. It was a really nice start to the week. We had lots of sunshine today. We started building in that cloud coverage, rain chances this evening, and really rain chances the rest of the week as well going into this upcoming weekend. Current temperatures out there right now, even with the thick layer of cloud coverage that we have out there, still very comfortable outside, anywhere between those mid to upper 70s right now. 75 there in Fayetteville, 73 in Bentonville, 75 in Van Buren, 77 our warm spot there in Charleston, 74 in West Fork, and 73 there in Rogers this afternoon. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today, that cloud coverage is still going to stick around through the afternoon and into the rest of this evening as well. Daytime highs climbing up into those low 80s, so we've still got some work to do before we reach those daytime highs. When it comes to rain chances today, overall, I think we stay dry. Those rain chances in Northwest Arkansas pick up by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon. Across the river valley looks like this. We're going to climb up into those low 80s more than likely, but that cloud coverage sticking around as well. Again, by the time we get closer towards the evening hours, let's say 5, 6, even 7 o'clock, that's where we're going to welcome in some of those rain chances as well. Not everybody is going to see that rain, but it will be possible mainly south of I-40 later on this evening. Futurecast shows us this. Again, by the time we get closer towards, let's say 4, 5, 6 o'clock, that's where we're going to see mainly those scattered showers staying south of I-40. Within that, you could see a few isolated thunderstorms. Now, Futurecast is hinting that we could see maybe just a few of these stray showers working in parts of Northwest Arkansas, but overall that chance is very low. Good news is by the time we get late this evening, most of that rainfall will be done, but over the next couple of days, Thursday, Friday into the start of your weekend, rain chances picking up as well. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, a deadly vehicle and motorcycle crash on the Midland Bridge causing some delays for drivers in Fort Smith this morning. The Fort Smith Police Department responded to the scene. They tell us the crash involved a motorcycle and a vehicle, but they didn't share any other details at this time. Police say the accident reconstruction team would be there on site for several hours, causing some significant traffic delays. Drivers were asked to avoid the area and consider using alternate routes. Well, the Catholic faithful are getting a chance to pay their final respects to Pope Francis. Overnight, his body was transferred to St. Peter's Basilica in a solemn procession. This ahead of a scaled-down funeral on Saturday. Bells tolled as Francis's body was moved to the 16th century Catholic Church from his residence at Casa Santa Marta. In a solemn procession, pallbearers carried Francis' coffin through St. Peter's Square, the same journey he made on Easter Sunday, just hours before he died. Unlike his predecessors, the body of Pope Francis is not elevated inside St. Peter's Basilica. Instead, it's facing the pews, as close to the people as possible, just as he wanted. In 2022, Francis wrote that he wanted to keep his funeral modest and wanted to be remembered as a simple disciple of Christ.
Pope Francis has made it clear that he does not wish to be buried at St. Peter's Basilica.
On Friday evening, a veil will be placed over his face and his coffin will be closed ahead of Saturday's funeral. In a break from tradition, Pope Francis will be laid to rest at St. Mary Major, a church he visited more than 100 times during his papacy. President Trump spat with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and his tariff fight with China spooked the markets. But softer tones from the president on both sides has investors buying. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Stock markets opened sharply up at the start of trading Wednesday following President Trump's shift on Fed Chair Jerome Powell, now saying he has no plans to fire him.
None whatsoever. Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him.
But just days ago, the president said this when asked about his social media post saying Powell's termination can't come fast enough.
I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and Oh, if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
The president also appeared to soften his tone on tariffs, saying the current 145% tariff on goods from China will come down substantially, but not completely.
I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice. They're going to be very nice. And we'll see what happens. But ultimately, they have to make a deal.
The White House says it's setting the stage for negotiations with China, but we don't know of any formal talks scheduled. China's foreign ministry said Wednesday the door to talks is wide open, saying it doesn't wish to fight, but also isn't afraid of fighting.
Intentional policy choices by other countries have hollowed out America's manufacturing sector and undermined our critical supply chains, putting our national and economic security at risk.
Trump advisor Elon Musk told Tesla investors Tuesday that he's voiced opposition to the current tariff strategy and that his work with Doge will be winding down, though said he may still spend a day or two a week on government matters. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Supreme Court heard arguments in a major religious rights case. A group of Christian, Muslim, and Jewish parents sued the school board in Maryland's largest district after their children were not allowed to opt out of lessons involving LGBTQ characters and themes.
They're opposed to our faith, and also just they are not appropriate for a young child.
At the end of the day, they're about community, they're about caring, they're about love.
School officials said so many parents were choosing to opt out that it was unworkable and it was at odds with their commitment to diversity. A decision in this case is expected by early summer. The Education Department says that starting May 5th, it will begin collecting payments for student loans that are in default. According to the department, more than 5 million borrowers are in default, and 4 million more could be in the same position in a few months. Borrowers behind on payments could face wage garnishment or have tax refunds and Social Security benefits withheld. The Department of Education says no loans have been sent to collections since March 2020. The White House press secretary announced that the Trump administration plans to end what it calls Biden-era student loan bailout attempts, saying taxpayers should not be forced to shoulder debt they never incurred.
The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections.
Fewer than 40% of borrowers are currently on student loans. The government plans to resume collections to help address the $36 trillion national debt. As many families are feeling the pinch of rising prices, colleges here at home are putting affordability at front and center. Several institutions are trying to change the narrative to help getting a degree be more affordable. This week, the University of Central Arkansas is in NWA doing a Blitz campaign. They're meeting with students, businesses, and industry leaders. UCA has about 4,000 alumni in the Northwest Arkansas area. While he was in town, we asked the president of UCA to stop by the 5 News studio. We asked him about a new initiative the school is offering that's called UCA Commitment. It was announced last year, and the idea is to keep parents and students from taking out loans or running up credit cards to pay for college.
We want to make certain that they're not stopping the conversation because they're worrying about how we're going to pay for that. The UCA Commitment Program is about changing that narrative and starting a different conversation with that family to know that, hey, we've mapped out a way financially for that to happen. Let's let you focus on academic goals.
The UCA Commitment is designed to support Arkansas students who are Pell eligible or whose household earnings are $100,000 or less per year. During UCA's Blitz, and to make sure they're offering courses that align with Arkansas industry, they're also holding a meeting with the NWA Council where about 350 community leaders will all be together in one room. And in Taneytown, residents are turning to the court, saying they've had enough of the toxic fumes coming from a nearby landfill. 3 residents have filed a lawsuit against Ecovista landfill, saying noxious odors have physically invaded the homes of more than 2,400 people. An air test found acrolein levels nearly 4,900% over the safe limits, and benzene more than 200% higher. The lawsuit ties emissions to hospitalizations and loss of quality of life.
If you had a home and you had to go outside, and on different days you have to go back inside and shut all the windows, you would that allows for compensatory damages dealing with the lack of enjoyment of their homes.
Residents say they've tried everything. Now they're hoping the courts can finally bring relief and hold the landfill accountable.